Hello, everybody. You're listening to the Big Chill Podcast. This is episode 33, Cheeseburgers, French fries, and Milkshakes, the Tiger Woods special. Chillonians. This is now our Thursday edition, so you're due to get some nice picks in. Fill up your wallet a little bit with our bets of the week, at least Eddie and myself's bets of the week. Maybe just don't listen to Sam, although he says he's got a banger of a bet this week he's going to go all in on. So stay tuned for more of that. So he could
deliberating if I'm going
or broke.
That's depressing because we only started this like a month ago and I'm 100K down.
You're soon to going to be that guy whenever Eddie and I used to walk into the William Hill for Royal Ascot and we see that person sitting there at 3 p.m. betting 50 cents on a Greyhound race and then turning around and smashing a chair when it loses. That's you by next week.
You know who he is? He's Austin. Because there was a time when we were all a little bit up and we went to the World Cup was on and we went to the William Hill or Ladbrokes in Ascot. And I gave him, because while we were placing out the bets, I gave him like £20 to use on the like roulette machine while we were figuring out what our accumulator was, and literally handed him the £20, turned around to like put in my accumulator, and I would say no more than 20 seconds later got a tap on his shoulder, just on my shoulder, just him being like, hey, can I have £20 more?
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, Austin is a friend of ours that comes with us on the Royal Ascot trip, and yeah, he was instantly pulled in by, I think it was roulette, which is so sad.
Virtual
all the
roulette,
colors.
to be clear. Virtual roulette
in a betting shop.
I mean, it's pretty bad. Like when I used to work in Ladbrokes, I saw some great examples of these people that would come in and immediately, even at like 9 a.m., they would start betting hundreds. So it'll be £100 a go, £100 a go in the machines, whether it's in racing in like Singapore or something like that that's further in the time zone. And then slowly but surely, hour by hour, you would just see that stake dwindle. And I have seen someone, no word of a lie, being in the shop for about 14 hours. So from when I opened to when I shut. And by the end of it, it was like 50p, 25p, 17p. It's a pretty depressing reality to someone's mental state, but yeah, it's I'm glad Austin didn't seem to go down that dark path. Did you give him 20?
He could have done.
We had to get him out.
He was yeah, he's lucky that there aren't machines
grabbing onto the walls as you're
He didn't at least get to the stage when you walk into the William Hill in the more shady part of town, and then you see just like 3 teenage boys smashing on the machine, screaming. He didn't get to that stage, so that was good. So yeah, I have to say I'm pretty excited that we get to watch some football this weekend because I finally finished Friday Night Lights. I had never gotten through all 5 seasons, and I did a full rewatch. Well, I guess it wouldn't be a rewatch. I did a full rewatch of the first 3 and then finished the last 2 bangers of a season with Michael B. Jordan in it. It was quite emotional, that last episode. So I think one day, once the NFL season ends, we should do like a Where Are They Now in the fake terms of Friday Night Lights and see who could potentially still be playing and who would be in jail and who will be dead. I think that would make for a really good episode. And that gives Sam some time to at least watch the first season, because the first season's pretty good. After that, it gets a little too like television sitcom-y.
Wait, so how long have I got to watch it? And how many seasons? I've
at least to the end of NFL. And we'll just like, as long as you watch the first season. I mean, I say that after the first season, it got kind of sitcom-y, but in the first season, there's a kid who becomes paralyzed. There's a murder.
Not many people laugh at that first sentence.
Like, it's like in one college team, like in one high school team, all of this happens. So maybe it is a little sitcom in the first season, but it feels legitimate. That's what it's that way.
I feel like you've given away some things now. Like, should I have been
No,
some
I
way
haven't.
like, okay, so I should just fully expect someone to get paralyzed now. Okay.
Yeah. I think it
look
happens
forward-
in the first episode. So
I look forward to it with the same level of hysterics that people getting paralyzed seems to cause you.
he turns out okay.
I think the great thing about the show is actually the storyline kind of never matters. It's one of those TV shows. It's enjoyable to watch, but it's one of those TV shows where what's actually going on the screen is almost irrelevant. You're just like sucked into these like minor stories that kind of never really turn into anything major. And you're just there, and there in the background, there's the occasional football scene. It's kind of a bunch of nothingness in a way that I think a TV show that attracted a lot of male viewers normally wouldn't have. It's the perfect mix of like a show that appeals to all genders. I mean, that's where they struck gold.
Yeah, and I will say the football scenes. So the football scenes themselves are really well done. Like they look realistic and almost as if they got maybe two actual high school teams to play each other for some of the plays. The plays themselves, very unrealistic. Like every time they win, it's on like a last second 50-yard touchdown play, whether it's like a scramble, triple reverse throw, or like a fumble pickup for a touchdown. Like the plays themselves are unrealistic, but the actual visuals of the football is pretty good for a television show.
Yeah, the only other thing I will say is it feels like they knew what the game ending play was always going to be. And then they recorded just a bunch of other footage to like mix in there for the like build up to that. And so sometimes what you'll see is like they're on the game winning drive and they'll be like 3rd and 12 from their own 33. And then next it's like 1st down from their own 40. and just nothing makes sense. Like that's the only element. And sometimes you're like, oh, they've made it into the other team's half, and then it's like final play of the game. They've got 70 yards to go. And you're like, wait, what is just happened?
It sounds just like a really poorly montage kind of thing, you know, where like they'll cut to one team and they'll be wearing like different jerseys. Then they'll cut to the other team and they'll be in a different stadium as they're driving or something like that.
But overall, it's really well done. I mean, I agree with Frank. The football scenes are actually really good, and it's pretty compelling in terms of how the team is doing. But yeah, it's a TV show, so everything comes down to the final play. They're always in with it's never just like, well, mediocre season, and we either won by 10 or lost by 10. Like, guess that's the way it went.
Is it a comedy? Because Frank laughing at someone getting paralyzed, is it kind of like
no,
a
hold
comedy?
on.
No.
Frank?
I'm not laughing at him getting paralyzed. I'm laughing, looking back on the situation of he becomes paralyzed, and then what happens to him afterwards it's so unrealistic that it's laughable.
Hold on a second. Frank, just to be clear, Frank laughed at 3 things from the Friday Night Lights storyline. A guy getting paralyzed, murder, and someone having sex with an underage child. Those are the 3 things that he found amusing.
But it's not a comedy. Okay.
Yeah, next up on Frank's list of comedies, he's going to be, maybe we'll start doing recommendations at the end of the episode, and he'll be like, well, my favorite comedy, Schindler's List.
American Psycho. No, but what I will say, so I won't, like, it's not major spoiler because you're never going to make it all the way to season 4 or 5. But the kid who becomes paralyzed.
Wait, no.
Why? What are they, 12 hours long each episode?
Yeah, I think
they're an hour long, and there's 16 episodes a season for 5 seasons.
I think Sam's under lockdown. I think let's not rule out the possibility.
Okay. All right.
Over the next couple months, he grinds out 5 seasons.
What Eddie's trying to say is I'm sad and lonely.
Yeah. And watching men fight over balls might be something you're interested in lockdown.
Wow.
Hold on. I couldn't possibly be insulting you there, Sam, because Frank has just rewatched the entire thing.
That's true.
And he's not under lockdown.
Wait, rewatch. So is it quite a recent show?
No, it ended. I guess the final season was probably 10 years ago.
Actually,
okay.
Yeah, so it kind of clicked into my head that we might actually be hitting the 10-year anniversary because the last season they play in was 2010. That's what it says on the actual show. So it might be a year or two behind that. So yeah, it's probably been about 10 years since it ended.
So we can try and get some of them on for the 10-year anniversary special.
Oh, we should. I mean, no offense, but what is Matt Saracen, the real person, doing now?
Oh, I've seen him in other things. I think
No
he's
way.
Actually yeah, no, I have. I've seen him. I think you're right. There's some fairly major cast members who have gone on to do nothing. But
I mean, you have several that have done a lot. So you have Taylor Kitsch, you have like Tim Riggins, and then you have the dorky kid. He's in a ton of stuff now.
I'm just going to say, I think Taylor Kitsch would be surprisingly available now.
He was
5 years ago. 5 years ago, we might have struggled to get him, but I think his agenda is pretty clear right now.
Yeah. What if we got the whole cast back?
Well, that's not going to happen.
No, wait. It's even better. What if we got the whole cast back and then we played an actual football game with them?
I don't understand how you would do a podcast of that.
Yeah.
It's easy. We would have the actual announcer from the TV show announce us playing with the cast.
So wait, why do we get to play though? If the full cast is there, why are we in it?
So it means that there's three people. So you brought the full cast back to just bench three of them?
No, because you never see anyone really on defense. So, like, there's no one that plays. There's only, I think, one person that is really highlighted that plays on the defensive side. So we could just play defense the whole time.
Okay, great. Sam, you're going to be the punter. No one's going to like you. That guy's cut. Interesting. Well, yeah, the discussion that'd be interesting. Let's just go. We'll do maybe a power ranking in the future of when you're discussing like where would their fictional characters be now. But just going off gut instinct, Frank, which Friday Night Lights character do you think would have had the best NFL career?
Which one would have had the best NFL career? And is this based off of their actual trajectory in the show or just how they played in the show? So what I'm saying is, like, Tim Riggins probably would have made a hell of a fullback, but then on the show, you see what happens to him. And that way, I don't think he would have obviously made it into the NFL.
And a show, like the whole story arc of the show.
Okay, taking into account their whole storylines. Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely Smash Williams.
You can't be, I can't remember the name of the quarterback who gets paralyzed. You can't say him minus the paralysis.
I would say Smash Williams.
Even with his knee?
Yeah, because then I won't, like, this isn't really a spoiler, but in the 5th season, they show him on TV playing in college, and he's doing really well.
Yeah. It's tough, actually. It might be none of them.
Well, I mean, what is it? 99.8% of high school football players don't make it in the NFL, so the odds are against them.
I'll go like Matthew Saracen is the 4th-string quarterback on the Patriots right now.
No way. Maybe Michael B. Jordan. Maybe he goes to a good college like Oklahoma that respects the RPO, and it gets him some fame a little bit. He's on a ranked team. People see things. They take a chance on him in the draft, maybe like 4th, 5th round.
Who's Michael B. Jordan? Is he Kyler Murray? Is that who he is?
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
And Matthew Saracen is Tom Brady.
No, Matthew Saracen. Wait. Matthew Saracen is like that quarterback we talked about on the Lions that came in last year that we couldn't remember his Blau.
Oh, yeah.
It's like him.
Okay. He's Ben DiNucci.
Yeah. Yeah, he is a less cool Ben DiNucci. And that's not saying at all that Ben DiNucci is in any way cool.
Well, I guess before we maybe get on to our Masters preview and I've got some little specials for you guys and for the listeners if you hang on. Things about Augusta that you might not know. A little bit like our Harding preview for the U.S. Open a few months ago.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know what Eddie's talking about, I say go back to our episode labeled The Harding Situation, and you can hear some very, very interesting facts about the Harding golf course that they played on, which was named after President Harding.
Although that wasn't the U.S. Open, was it? Actually, it was the player. Anyway, was it the U.S. Open? I think it was
the U.S. Open was Winged Foot, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It was the
Players Championship.
Yeah, it was the Players. But before we get to that, I guess let's get into our NFL picks. And before we get into our NFL picks, I'll do the usual summary of where we stand so far.
You can gloss over me, though.
I cannot. This is a train wreck that I have to stare at for a little bit. Let's just say, Sam, your early season lead has well and truly evaporated
into thin air. It has been a descent into hell.
Yes. So last week was pretty good for both, for me and for Frank. So I went 12-2 straight up and 8-6 against the spread, and then Frank, you went 7-7. Oh no, sorry, that's Sam. Sorry to try and insult you with that one. You went 11-3 straight up and 6-8 against the spread. And then this whole disaster unfurled for Sam, where he went 7-7 straight up and an impressive 3-11 against the spread, taking our overall season standing. So I am 94-38-1 straight up. Frank, you are 84-48-1 straight up, and Sam, you are 81-51-1 straight up.
Shit,
against the spread.
You're starting to pull away.
Yeah, straight up might be over in the competition. Yeah. The spread remains relatively close. I'm 66-65-2. Okay. Frank, you are 63-68-2, and Sam is 60-71-2. So that's still anybody's game, but Sam's
no, it's not. That's a two-man race.
I'm going to make you eat those words at week 10.
You know what? You deserve that, Sam, after you ripped apart my each-way horse bet last week and how pathetic it was.
But so it was
a 7-7 straight up.
I wouldn't even say it was pathetic. It was impressive. It was more impressive that you managed to get nothing close. Some of mine were at least on the edge.
Yeah, I mean, the depressing thing for you, though, too, Sam, is you got Thursday Night Football right. So you then went 2-11 after Thursday Night Football. It was not a pretty sight.
The only one that was anything redeeming against you guys was that I took the Jags to take it close against the Texans.
Yeah, you can hang your hat on that. Well done.
No, it's obviously a great one to take, and I'll really take that confidence going into the next round of games. All right, I guess.
Yeah, so let's get through these, and then that way we can get to some of Eddie's Augusta facts, and then I also have some Masters related topics I think will be pretty fun.
Wow. Okay. All right, let's get cracking. Colts at the Titans, and this one seems to have flipped a bit, but I took it an hour ago at the Titans are +1. But I had seen it the other way at some point, which was rare. Some bookies had done the Titans -1. Some had done the Colts -1. So who we took on Bet365 had Titans +1. So who wants to go first, Eddie? Want to start us off?
Yeah, I mean, this is a tough one for me in the sense that I don't think I've been, even though I felt like the Titans have been good all year, I think I've mostly got their games wrong. And in this one, I like them. I'm a little bit fearful of the fact that the Colts are a good all-around team, but I just do not trust Phillip Rivers in any way. And so even though he might end up, this Titans defense is not great, and this could be a situation where I regret this when Phillip Rivers throws for 400 yards against them. But I'm going to take the Titans.
I agree. I backed the Colts against the Ravens. I think I was going for run defense against, kind of the best run offense. But the Titans have Derrick Henry. I just think the thing with this one is that even though the Colts actually played a really good game against the Ravens, I think they restricted them to maybe about 140 rushing yards or something like that, which is low for the Ravens, basically. They played them really well. The Titans just come across a bit more of an all-round opponent against the Colts. So they're going to have to stop the run, but also the pass. And I just think, I looked at the divisional history, actually, and the Colts seem to have like a real one-up against the Titans at the moment in that in the matchups. But I think I'm going to go for the Titans as well. I just think offensively, Rivers will let the Colts down. And so I'm going to go with the Titans.
Yeah, I'm with both of you guys. I'm going to go Titans. They've covered the spread in 4 consecutive home games. So we're starting to get into that time of the year where you can start to compile some of these statistics. You know, it's not just 1 game or 2 games. So it seems like they do play pretty well at home. The other thing for me is, I mean, now that we're looking at the Colts, they've only beaten 1 team so far with a winning record, and that's the Bears. So yeah, they're playing close games and they're kind of in games, even though they end up losing to the Ravens by, 14. It was still a relatively close game for most of it, you know? So they're staying close, but they seem to only be beating the teams that aren't that great. And I think the Titans, listen, they lost 2 out of their last 3, but they're still a decent team. They're still going to make the playoffs. They're still tough. So I'm going to stick with the Titans here.
A big game divisionally, isn't it? What is it, 5-3 against 6-2? So if the Titans win, they pretty much
finally a good Thursday night game.
Yeah, should be a good one actually. So next up, Frank's Texans against the Browns, and the Browns are 3-point favorites. So Frank, you wanna back the Texans?
Book them.
Really? This can't be a thing.
Listen.
Are you doing what Eddie did last week, where he's just like, I'm backing the Dolphins to piss you off? So are you just doing I'm backing the Texans to piss Eddie off? It did work.
Partially. But my worry is Houston has a terrible run defense, and we know the Browns, we know they're going to run the ball. They like to ground and pound a little bit, especially when you can't trust Baker Mayfield. But if I'm going to stick to my guns and think that the Texans are a decent team and also think that the Browns aren't as great as their record shows, then this is obviously the game that I have to do that. I have to take the Texans with the points and pick them. So, this is going to show me one way or the other, and then Eddie can come on next week and tell me that I have to take back one of my claims. So, or both of them.
I mean, I like that you say this is the game that's going to show me one way or the other. We're in week 9. They have shown you one way very, very clearly for several weeks now.
No. I mean, what I mean is that saying the Texans are a decent team and that the Browns are slightly overrated for their record.
Okay.
It's going to show me.
Well, here's the thing is, even if the Browns win, this doesn't make them properly rated because they're playing against a really terrible team here. It is worth noting, however, that Baker Mayfield is on the COVID list at the moment, so he is questionable for Sunday, but I think falls into that Big Ben category where they are still expecting him to play, but he did come into contact with someone who tested positive. So it isn't guaranteed that Baker Mayfield will be playing. I don't know if that significantly changes anyone's picks.
Isn't Nick Chubb meant to be deemed fit to play though? I know the Browns have loads of weapons, but if Chubb's coming back as well, you almost think it's just another good weapon. So even if Mayfield isn't playing, the run game is still going to be great against the Texans are one of the worst run defenses in the league.
Yeah, so I said 28th.
Yeah. No, I mean, on paper, it's a great matchup for the Browns. And so it's for that reason that I am definitely going to take the Browns. Because just for those reasons, even if Chubb isn't back, they still have, two very good options in the backfield. If they have Chubb back and they have all three options there, then I don't see how the Texans stop them. But even with the two, I think they're fine.
So Mayfield's off the COVID list.
Okay.
As of right now.
I mean, it makes it even more certain then. Because also you look at the Texans secondary and it's equally as awful. So they've got Mayfield throwing, they've got a great running game, lots of go-to options. For me, the spread's really good for the 3. So yeah, I'm taking the Browns. I really like this matchup actually.
So. Sean Watson all day over Baker Mayfield.
Right. Next up is the biggest spread of the week. So it's the Jags at the Packers, and the Packers are 13.5-point favorites. Anyone going with the Jags on the spread here? Are we all assuming a Packers win? What are we thinking?
It's a little bit tough because it gets into that range of just a really big spread, right? And we've discussed this over the course of the season. Then become a little bit hesitant whenever a spread gets this big, just because either an early touchdown for the Jags or a late touchdown for the Jags suddenly means that you need the Packers to be winning by 21 points. And that's a lot, even if they're dominating the game. That being said, I do feel like Aaron Rodgers is kind of in that mood where he's going to try and continue to prove a point. We discussed his MVP credentials in the last episode, and I think this is a good opportunity for him to kind of run up the score a little bit and have a really good performance just to pad those stats. Also worth noting, the Jags' average losing margin this season is 8.5, and they have lost on the spread by an average of 3.9. So they've not actually been that close when Vegas has set the spread. They actually haven't usually been that close to the number, which is a little bit unusual. So I'm going to take the Packers, obviously, to win. I think that's the safest money line pick of the week. Not the odds are good. And I'm going to take the Packers to cover the spread. But over the course of this season, usually when I've backed a team to cover a big spread, they've messed up. And when I've taken the team with the points, they've been blown out. So who knows?
Yeah, I mean, look at last week, right? The Chiefs didn't cover the big spread. I guess Patriots 7.5 was fairly big, but Steelers didn't cover it. Patriots didn't cover it. It kind of made me think twice about seeing a 13.5. But again, the Jags get absolutely destroyed through the air. And as you say, Eddie, I think this is one of those games where Rodgers will absolutely lap up that situation. So I think I'm going to take the Packers, and I think I'll take them to cover as well. Yeah, I just think the Jags won't be able to stop Rodgers.
Yeah, so I think this is how Eddie said it, but it was kind of confusing. So the Jags have 4 games already this year where they've lost by 14 points or more. And those were against teams probably not as good as the Packers. So I will stick with the Packers here. This is actually pretty funny. This was also my survivor pick, but I had to, so I don't have the contact of how to get the pick in. So I relay it to my father, who then puts in the pick for me. But he is currently in Key West, Florida right now. And someone hit the main line, telephone, internet, whatever line of Key West, and knocked out all of the internet, all of the cable, all of like the phone service, knocked out everything. So the entire island, they went through like the hurricane or tropical storm went through, nothing happened. Then some asshole hits the telephone line and knocked out the whole island. So my mother also had a work call, but she couldn't get onto the call because there wasn't internet, but then she couldn't contact anyone to tell them she couldn't get onto the call. So they hopped into a car and just drove, and they had to drive 85 miles until they got service. So he called me up like, your pick better fucking win this week because we had to drive 80 miles to put it in. And then as soon as they drove back into Key West, the service was restored.
I think that's what they call sod's law, right?
Yeah.
But it's funny because I said to my mother, I said, like, why don't you just use a landline? And she's like, well, the house we rent doesn't have a landline and there aren't any payphones anymore. So it's not that easy. But even it was crazy because you couldn't even, like, if you want to get gas, you couldn't get gas because you can't use your card because there's absolutely no service. So people couldn't do anything except if you had cash. It's pretty funny.
Nice.
It's almost as crazy as an idiot living without internet for over a month and a half.
I'll give you a mild update on that. This evening, my delivery from Free did arrive. So I have a host of new boxes and toys and everything, but none of them work.
Tried or someone has to come and do it for you?
I tried, and there's a problem with the line, so a technician has to come back to fix this.
I mean, I think it's deliberate now. I think it's almost like Orange passed on that this guy is an absolute sucker for small faults and just keep it going.
I like to think that all of the internet companies kind of discuss with each other. And when Eddie left Orange then sent a message out being like, hey, whoever picks up Edward Hewitt's contract, here's his dossier. So just get ready to fuck him as hard as you can.
The thing is, right, that technically Orange did warn me that this kind of situation could arise if there were multiple demands on the line at the same time. The thing is, this might turn out to be the only time that the information they gave me was accurate. That's going to be the real killer. Everything else was completely wrong, but this time around they may have been correct.
It's actually impressive listening to this. Like you've clearly survived, and that's all well and good, but I would struggle to understand how, like, working from home, watching as much sports as you do, how it actually works. And also just a lack of Xbox and things like that. No, I can't actually understand how you're coping. Are you coping?
I mean, unfortunately, I've like built a system, right, where almost everything in my house relies on the internet, like my lights, all my radios, like my TV, everything.
Wait, all of your radios? How many radios do you have?
2.
Do you mean radiators or do you mean radios? As in
like radio that you get the radio through. You know that thing? It's kind of like podcasts, but it's streamed live.
Why do you
Never
have
heard
2?
of it.
Because I have more than one room.
I don't know. It just feels odd that anyone would have a radio in their house.
Do you mean radio or do you mean speaker?
Well, I mean, it's a speaker, but it primarily exists for me to play the radio through. I listen to the radio.
I don't know why it surprises me. I only associate people listening to a radio in a car, because you would just listen to it through like the internet, through your laptop or something.
Yeah, well, yeah, you know what I don't have there, Sam? The internet. So the laptop is not useful. But no, I listen to the radio. I listen to Test Match Special. I listen to some Radio 4 programs from time to time. I'll pick up the news. And when I work, I'll listen to the radio as I go.
I just got this idea of Eddie like listening to like the wartime broadcast.
Yeah, like a fireside chat.
Like
gathered around
around
with a cognac.
gathered around listening to the wireless.
Yeah.
Grim news from London today as the Luftwaffe. All right. Speaking of grim news, we got the Giants at the Eagles.
Oh,
sorry, the Eagles at the Giants.
What a game!
Yeah, exactly. And the
first place implications on the line.
The Eagles. That's the weird thing about this one, right? It's actually a big game for the NFC East. It actually kind of matters. But what was it, like 3 weeks ago? They played and the Eagles won by a point. For me, though, what's interesting is like the Eagles actually stopped the pass pretty well. I think they've got like the 5th or 6th best pass defense in the league. And coupled with someone like Daniel Jones, who has such a massive propensity to mess things up and like gift something. I think the last time they played, he gave the ball away twice. So for me, I'm going to go the Eagles with this one. I think the Eagles will win, and I'll take them to cover that spread.
For me, Yeah, so I mean, you're going to get turnovers from Daniel Jones. Last week was one of the first games he didn't have any turnovers, and he still fumbled twice. They just didn't have the defense just didn't happen to get it. So even when he's not turning it over, he's almost turning it over. And you're playing a slightly, I think, a team that kind of sees the light at the end of the tunnel here for the NFC East now that the Cowboys are out. Washington isn't that great. I think they realize that they can win this. So I think they're going to really push. And I don't know. I mean, they're not good, but the Giants aren't very good either. And they have Alshon Jeffrey coming back. Miles Sanders returned to practice. Who knows how much he's going to play? But, so you have two key pieces back. I'll take the Eagles to win. The Giants keep it close, but is it 3 or 3.5?
3, straight 3.
I'll take the Eagles then.
Wow. Didn't realize it's the margins are that fine for you when it comes to picking this.
I guess it matters though, doesn't it? Like field goal, push, or
no, it does. But
3.5, I take the Giants.
This is a very watchable game. Like I know I usually have that list of games I'm going to watch less than a minute of, and I do like to be able to put this game on that list, but then because of the playoff implications, I can't. So, I mean, this is probably going to come down to which quarterback turns the ball over less, because you've got one in Carson Wentz who has 12 interceptions this season, and you have the other in Daniel Jones who has 9 interceptions this season and 4 lost fumbles. That being said, when you look at the Eagles' offensive potential versus what the Giants are, you're looking at the Giants average 18.7 points a game. The Eagles average 23.3 points a game. To me, that's significant enough to think that the Eagles should just have too much firepower. And especially with some players returning from injury, I think this is a game that they win. I'm not going to say comfortably, but certainly by more than 3 points. I'm going to put this in like the 7 to 10 point range if I was going to make a prediction. But so I'm going to take the Eagles and Eagles to cover.
Yeah, I mean, Eddie does bring up a good point. Carson Wentz actually has more turnovers this year than Daniel Jones, which is crazy to think about, that anyone could have more turnovers than Daniel Jones. I mean, the guy can't even fucking hold on to the ball for 10 minutes.
I mean, Wentz's better game out of all of them was the Giants game a few weeks ago, though, because he threw for like 350 and a couple of touchdowns as well. So it was like out of that kind of turd of a season. It was one of the more polished parts of it.
Wow, what a description. Here's the thing is, right, last Sunday night, we had the breaking news game as to who would have the most career touchdowns. And now we're going to have the breaking news game as to who's leading the league in turnovers. So the NFL just keeps delivering key quarterback matchups on a weekly.
It's been a milestone year for good and for worse.
All right, next game.
Yeah, next up is the Bucks at the Panthers, and the Panthers are the Bucks are 6-point favorites. I mean, Brady was basically dead last week. I mean, Brady turns up the following week, right? This is going to be Brady coming back and absolutely showing people why he's not dead. I mean, the thing with the Panthers, though, is they played a solid game, right, against the Chiefs. And it was kind of a start to finish solid game. I mean, Bridgewater threw pretty well. The defense kind of held up pretty well. But the thing for the Panthers in this game is it's weirdly become a must-win, because I think they're like 3-6. So if there's any realistic hope of that playoff berth, it's got to be a win. Otherwise, they're dead in the water. So for me, I think the Bucks look pretty good away from home as well. And also just the fact that you're taking Brady to bounce back after what probably was the worst performance of his career from a guy that usually bounced back anyway. I really like the Bucks in this one. And the 6 is a good spread because it just takes in that touchdown score. So I'm going to take the Bucks.
So I'll go slightly against you here. You could argue that the Bucks game last week was a fluke and it was just a bad game, but then back it up one more week and they almost lost to the Giants. So this is now 2 weeks in a row that they haven't played very well versus a Panthers team who, yeah, they've lost 4 straight, but they're keeping it close when they're losing every game, that 4 straight. And I think that's what's going to happen here. I think the Bucs win this, but I think it'll be a little closer than the 6 points. I think it'll come down to maybe the last drive. So I'll take the Panthers +6, but I'll take the Bucs to at least come back and get back on track with a win. But I don't think it's going to be that impressive of a win.
Yeah, I mean, this is a tough one because if the Bucs play anything like they played a week ago, then they stand no chance. That being said, Christian McCaffrey is out again for the Panthers. Now, whether or not that matters, they played really well in his absence already, but makes me a little bit more comfortable when it comes to the Bucs because he is a major weapon. The thing is, guys, this is the first game of the season where I have an insider scoop, like a little bit of a tip, because I've got some sources in Tampa Bay that have been trying to get to know the players, been working on it all year. And finally, one of them has given me some good information. And he told me that throughout the week, Tom Brady has had his favorite Jell-O every day in his retirement home. And so he's feeling a lot stronger than he was a week ago. So on the back of that, I am going to take the Bucs to win and to cover the spread.
We didn't ask this. Is this a day game, Sam? Because you got to figure Tom Brady at his retirement home is up at 3:30 a.m.
It's 1 p.m. Eastern.
See, that's right in his wheelhouse. That now is his night game. That's his Sunday night game. His 1 p.m. That's his primetime night game.
I'm trying to think who one of Eddie's insiders is. Is it like an orderly or something like that? Like one of the nurses? I'm not sure. One of his tips. I'm not sure who the insider is.
It's the guy who
Antonio
empties
Brown.
his colostomy bag.
It's Antonio Brown.
So with the insider news, what are you going for? The Bucs, Brady all jelloed up, feeling good,
the
feeling
Bucs.
fine.
Yeah, the Bucs. And the Bucs cover the spread. I don't love it, but yeah. Should also know we've got a bit of talked about the breaking news. Once again, for listeners, I know when live sporting updates get told to you 24 hours later, it's amazing. But we do have some breaking news, which is Scotland have just beaten Serbia in a penalty shootout and have qualified for Euro 2020. The first time that Scotland has qualified for a major tournament since 1998.
And the first time for the Euros since that famous England 96.
Yeah.
Where arguably the best football song ever created was Born For.
I actually think that Scotland's song for the World Cup in 98 rivals it in terms of quality of song, but not in terms of something you're going to sing at an actual football match. But I do think Delamitri's Don't Come Home Too Soon is the perfect song for the Scotland football team. Now, unfortunately, I didn't listen to it, and they came home after the group stages and then haven't left for 22 years.
All right. Next up is the Washington football team at the Lions. And the Lions are 4.5-point favorites. Eddie, your pick.
I mean, this is a tough one for me because I've spent the season talking about how bad the Lions are. And even though they're playing against a bad team here, I know that if I pick the Lions, Frank is going to call me a hypocrite and tell me that I'm suddenly, look at me getting onto the Lions bandwagon in week 9 and make fun of me. So I'm a bit torn here, but it is difficult to imagine this very beaten up Washington team suddenly turning things around. They've been fundamentally really bad all year. You do have to give Alex Smith a little bit of credit in that when he came into the game, we didn't really talk about another horrific quarterbacking injury happening in Washington. I mean, they may now have to accept the fact that this team, their stadium is on an Indian burial ground or something because it's just
how
horrific.
Ironic. Shouldn't they? Why don't they name their team after that?
Yeah, exactly. But it is the number of horrific injuries. I mean, you're at 3 just catastrophic injuries happening to their quarterbacks.
That one was gross too. Was that last week, right?
Yeah, that was against the Giants. Yeah.
Yeah, that was not a good one either.
And you got to give Alex Smith credit in a sense because he came in and nearly brought them back into the game. I mean, he had the potential for the game-winning drive when he threw the interception at the end. And we spoke about in the build-up to the season, yes, in a way that we didn't really want to see him play, but kind of admired the fact that he was brave enough to get back out there. You're even braver to get back out there after you've seen the guy in front of you have his ankle snapped. And to be able to put that out of your mind after what you went through and get out and play is pretty incredible.
It's got to be like some element of PTSD there, isn't it? Like just watching some guy's leg get destroyed is going to bring back some pretty haunting memories. It is pretty incredible to see it.
Or maybe you're like the guy in a lightning storm who thinks I've already been struck once, like no way I get struck twice. And so he's like, well, one quarterback has already had a horrific injury this game, so I'm safe for the next 30 minutes at least.
He's a gambling man. I like it. Like I'm invincible. The thing is though, like Washington still defend the pass really well. And I don't think the Lions are that good. And there's always those games where you think, okay, well, I'm going with the favorites. I'm going with the spread quite a lot. And there's got to be some games where you think it's just not going to happen. And I don't rate the Lions at all. I think they're pretty bad when they're stopping red zone. So I think Alex Smith has the capacity here to put up some numbers. And I think Washington already have proven to have the ability to stop the Lions. So they stop better teams to lower point scores. So I think they'll be able to stop the Lions and score. So for me, I'm going to go Washington and to obviously cover.
So Eddie's rule is after a loss, you take a really good team to bounce back. I'm going to amend that rule and say also with a less great team after 2 straight losses, you take them to bounce back. And that's why I'm going to be taking the Lions over Washington. Washington is not good. They lost to the Giants twice now. I love that Alex Smith is playing. I think that's awesome. It's crazy that he's back out there, but he didn't look that great. He threw 3 picks in what, one half, a little over a half. So it's not that great. If he turns the ball over 5-6 times in a full game, it's going to be an issue. I'll take the Lions, and I'll take the Lions to cover as well. This brought me back. I was talking to one of our avid listeners the other day, and we were talking about, I forget what game we were talking about. And I had said, yeah, the only other team they beat was the Redskins, and they beat the Redskins. And I said Redskins like 3 times. And he's like, they're not the fucking Redskins for the 1,000th time. How many people have to tell you this? So it's just like, it's never going to happen. I'm never going to be able to transition it out of my head. And I think maybe that's a key sign of CTE, is that I can't remember more recent things. And all I can remember is the Washington Redskins of 2002 or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's either a sign of CTE or just chronic racism. It's difficult. It's difficult to distinguish at times, because even now, when you're not slipping up and accidentally saying the team name, you're going out of your way to tell stories where you say the name. So
I'm trying to be accurate. So what am I supposed to say? The R word?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Washington R words.
I think they prefer the term spastics now. But
Washington R words.
But I didn't actually, just to conclude, I do agree fundamentally with Frank on this one in that, I mean, I think the Lions are relatively competent, and Washington are just one of the worst 5 teams in the league. So I'll take the Lions to win and the Lions to cover the spread.
So that's where you guys get one up on me. That's where you guys get one up on me. All right. Good matchup next. It's the Bills at the Cardinals, and the Cardinals are 2.5-point favorites. What do you guys think, Frank? Frank, what do you think?
I have to say, I don't think I'm getting myself a free Dunkin' Donuts coffee this week. The Bills seem to have bounced back. They looked better than ever last week. Josh Allen had a phenomenal game. They're going to come into a Cardinals team that lets opposing QBs have great games. They did it with a below average rookie QB last week. So now that you have a potential Pro Bowler coming in, I think it's going to be a high scoring game. Again, it'll be another fun game to watch. The Cardinals are always a fun team to watch because they score a lot with Kyler Murray, but then they just give it right back up. I think that's what's going to happen here again. And I'll take the Bills, and I'll take the Bills with the points.
Yeah. There's two reasons here why I really like the Bills. One is that the Cardinals secondary and just their defense overall is not very good. So you have to feel like this is a great opportunity for the Bills to score a significant number of points, which against the Cardinals you have to, because you're not going to completely stop them. The other reason is coming off the back of having just played the Seahawks and Russell Wilson, that feels like a nice prep for then coming up against Kyler Murray. So they've played two. I mean, obviously Murray runs with the ball a lot more than Wilson does, but it's still two mobile quarterbacks.
Who's the racist now, Eddie? Why don't you tell us the real reason that they're similar, Eddie? Racist.
Okay, wow. I don't know if that makes you look any better. But yes, no, I'm gonna take the Bills. One thing I will say is every time the Cardinals have had a really bad game and kind of looked as if their season was about to fall apart, they bounce back. And so that would be why I'd be a little bit cautious when it comes to this one. But it looks like this is just a really nice matchup for the Bills.
Yeah. I mean, Murray actually had a good game against the Bills. He threw for like 280 and like 3 touchdowns. He actually played well. It was the defense.
Against the Dolphins, you mean?
Yeah, it was the defense that let him down in that game. But the interesting thing for the Bills was that not only did they score really well with Allen offensively, but they stopped Wilson really well. Like sacked him. I think they forced like a couple of fumbles as well. So it was just great to see both sides like putting in a near complete performance. And I think it just showed how good and dangerous the Bills can be. And considering they're underdogs in this, I'm taking the Bills as well. So
the over under. Go ahead, Eddie.
Well, I actually think that's been one of the interesting storylines of this season is that for the past few years, the Bills have had a really good defense. And I think people still in their minds approach games that way, but they've actually been very bad so far this year. And maybe the question was last week the sort of aberration, or is that an indication that they're kind of returning to form? And this will be a good test of that, because it's obviously, even if the Cardinals aren't amazing, they do tend to score a lot of points. So this will be a good test.
Yeah. So the over-under is 56.5, which is pretty high, but what do you guys think on that?
I'd go over just because it's rare in a Cardinals game to not see both teams score at least 30 points, but it is a high over-under.
So that would have covered so they've only gone over 56, the Cardinals, 2 out of their last 5. So, yeah, I think it's close. And the Bills have gone over that 3 out of their last 5. And also to note, Kyler Murray is on pace to be the first quarterback ever to go 4,000 passing yards and 1,000 rushing yards. That would be pretty amazing. He's their leading rusher, just like the Giants and Daniel Jones.
All right. Next up is the Broncos at the Raiders, and the Raiders are 4.5-point favorites. I really like the Raiders in this one. I know I backed the Broncos against the Falcons, and to be fair, they actually did put up some sort of like half decent offensive play. They actually started to like convert some of the red zone opportunities they got and score. But when you look at the Raiders team, I mean, they're undefeated divisionally as well. It's pretty good. They look pretty good running wise, and I don't know, I just think the Broncos won't put up many points, and the Raiders have proven themselves to be a pretty competent team. So for me, this is I think it's quite an easy one. So I'm going for Raiders and cover.
Yeah, I feel like the Raiders don't get, every once in a while we talk about teams that don't get the level of respect that they deserve. I think the Raiders fall into that category. And so this one kind of surprises me. I don't really like the Broncos at all. So I'll keep this one pretty swift, but I'll say I'm taking the Raiders, and I'm taking them to cover.
Yeah, I'll keep it easy. The Raiders have beaten both the Chargers and the Browns by more than 5, and I think both of those teams are better than the Broncos. So I think the Raiders will win. I think they'll cover. But you're right. We don't give them any credit. And just like, for instance, right now, we both just breezed through this game. But maybe if they keep winning, then we'll spend some more time on them, even though they're 5-3.
Part of me, for a second, I had to remind myself that they didn't play the Broncos last week. The Broncos and the Chargers, in my mind, have almost become interchangeable.
Well, one's got a good QB and one's got a terrible QB, except for the fourth quarter when he has to come back by 30 points.
Herbert's not that bad.
Speaking of the Chargers, they are away at the Dolphins, and the Dolphins are 2-point favorites. What do you think?
This is a tough one for Frank. This is his boy wonder versus his nemesis. Like, this is going to be a hard one, a very tough pill for him to swallow if Tua walks away from this one with a victory. That being said, I think that the Chargers are the better team, and I'm going to take the Chargers. But no, you know what? Actually, it served me well last week. I'm just going to go with the anti-Frank pick on this one, and I'm just going to say that this is the one game Frank probably doesn't want to be wrong on, and so I'm going to take the Dolphins and the Dolphins to cover the spread.
What a disrespect to the Dolphins you have by saying the Chargers at 2-6 are a better team than the 5-3 Dolphins. What a slap in the face to the Dolphins that is. But you're completely right. The Chargers are the better team. Herbert's the much better quarterback. This game means a lot to me because Herbert is my boy, and I've been petitioning for Herbert to have been drafted by the Giants since this first game he started at Oregon when I watched him. I've always been a fan. I have never been a fan of Tua. Although I will admit, I've always said he's a good quarterback. I just don't generally like his style and the way he plays. But he does win a lot, and he puts up huge numbers. But I still have to go with Herbert in this one. And that is a slight disrespect to the Dolphins' defense because their defense has been playing phenomenal lately. They're scoring. I mean, their defense, I think, 3 weeks in a row now, they've put up a touchdown. So their defense is tough, and it's going to be tough for the Chargers to put up points. But I have to go with my gut. These are two big games for me from an emotional standpoint in the Chargers and the Texans. This could be a very sobering Monday podcast when we get back on.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If people listening won't know this, but I've heard the Tua versus Herbert discussion an endless number of times over the past few years. I mean, Frank legitimately was the person to make me aware of Herbert. So, and listeners won't be able to see this, but all in the background, he just has posters of him. Some of them pictures taken from angles. I mean, these are not official posters, clearly taken secretly from bushes and other places. Some of them
peeping holes.
Yeah, some of them when Herbert was maybe only 13 or 14. So it's very questionable.
It's scouting him since before he even was on Oregon.
Is that what you called it?
Some detectives call it grooming. I just call it scouting.
Yeah, I'm sure that holds up in court as well. I'm torn with this one. I usually like back in the Chargers, and they've let me down quite a lot. But the thing with the Chargers is if they lose, it's always close. So there's no spread to really work with here. I really like Herbert, but I'm really not sure. I actually have no idea where to go with this. I don't really think I've backed the Dolphins that much this year, so I'm going to go Dolphins. I'm honestly not giving much. I think this is a complete toss-up. I can see both of them quite easily winning this game. But what was interesting about this game, though, is that the way you've seen the Chargers, like Herbert and Tua, put up points, I thought that the over would be quite high for this one. It's about 48 or 50, I think, at the moment. But what was interesting is the last 10 meetings between the Chargers and Dolphins, 9 of them have gone under. And I just thought that was quite an interesting, because obviously they don't play each other all the time. I just thought that was quite an interesting thing to see. So maybe the under's a pretty good bet if history's there to go by, even though offensively speaking, you would probably expect this kind of game to go over. But I just thought that was an interesting little tidbit.
You're missing the real rule of this podcast, though. They're due. That's all you just told me.
They're due. Yeah, maybe. But I like it. I think I'm not going to back it. It's not going to be in my bet of the week. But I just thought that was an interesting one. But yeah, I'm going to go Dolphins. The Bengals are back, and they are playing the Steelers. And the Steelers are 6.5-point favorites. And this line has been coming in. I saw it over a touchdown a couple of days ago as well. So the Bengals keep it close, don't they? But I don't know what you guys think. After that Cowboys game, has your opinion on this one changed? I'm sure the line has because of that Cowboys game. But for a team that's 9-0, there's a couple of question marks, I think. But what do you guys think?
Well, this line opened at 11.5. So it's changed pretty drastically as a result of the struggles against the Cowboys, then the possibility that Big Ben will be out because he's on the COVID protocol, and then also the fact that seemingly he has 2 injured knees. So there's kind of 3 question marks, well, 2 question marks and 1 bad performance here hanging over the Steelers. And obviously Big Ben isn't the only Steelers player who is will possibly miss the game as a result of the COVID protocols. That being said, I mean, I've doubted the Bengals kind of all year long. They, Burrow's sweet mouth bit me very hard 2 weeks ago against the Titans. And yet, here I am. I'm going to come back right now and put my faith in Big Ben and just hope that he has continued his Sunday acting job right through the week now and is just trying to come out as the savior of the Steelers yet again. And will have overcome COVID. Will have had 2 double knee replacement surgery over the course of the week, and he'll be back to his best. So I would have really thought long and hard about this line had it stayed double digits, just for the reason that you said that the Bengals do tend to keep games pretty close. But at less than a touchdown, I like the Steelers to win and cover the spread.
That 6.5 annoys me. Because when I saw it at 7.5, 8, I really like not the Bengals to win, but I really like Bengals to cover because the Bengals do keep things close. But also when you look at the Steelers' last 3 games, they haven't won by more than 4. And so it just feels like that kind of game where it's going to be a Bengals loss, but it will be within a score. I think the Steelers are a little bit vulnerable in their secondary as well. And I think the Bengals are coming fresh off a bye, and as long as they can just keep that passing game going that the Bengals are pretty good for, I think the Steelers will win, but I think it's going to be another 3 or 4 point win. I just think they're just going to do it. So for that reason, I'm going to take the Steelers to win, but I'm actually going to take the 6.5 on the Bengals to cover.
I hate to say it, but I have to go with Sam on this one. Yeah, everyone who listens knows, and for those who don't, I can tell you right now, I am not very high on the Steelers. They're a good team, but I don't think they make it very far in the playoffs. I can't trust them without who knows what's going to happen with Big Ben. They have injuries now. He isn't practicing with them, and at the very least, that's going to throw off some timing. So, maybe they get off to a slow start in the first half and have to crawl back into it like they did with the Cowboys. I'll take the Bengals with the points. I'll take the Steelers to win and eke it out.
Welcome aboard. Did you see my record last week? It's pretty good. So you should have a lot of confidence with that pick.
It's a loss.
It's always good when we gift one to the guy in front, isn't it? So yeah, you got to give these presents. You got to give these presents here and there, right?
I mean, it's worth saying the one reason too to like the Steelers in this one. The Bengals haven't done a good job of protecting Burrow throughout the season, and you feel like this is a game where the Steelers just could be getting to him time and time again.
You got TJ Watts coming after him. Oh, and Eddie, by the way, TJ Watts Subway commercials, not so good. They are no Baker Mayfield Progressive Insurance.
All right. Next up is the Seahawks at the Rams, and they've given the Rams 2-point favorites here. So what do you think?
This is such a slap in the face to Russell Wilson, and he is going to be so pissed off. He is going to come out guns blazing. Russ is going to cook all day on this game. I don't understand, after losing a close, high-scoring game to a very good playoff team, that all of a sudden you can be out on the Seahawks. It makes no sense, especially considering that the Rams have not been very good their last few games. It's not as if the Rams are on like a crazy streak and now they're facing the Seahawks team that, lost a big game and maybe they're down and out, in the slumps. The Rams are 3-3 in their last 6 games, and Goff has a 78 passer rating. That's not impressive. So I don't know. I don't get the spread, and I'll happily take the Seahawks with the points.
I'm going to disagree with you on this one. I don't think the Rams
there
are great.
There we go.
I think
clawing back with this one.
I think this is a kind of nice matchup for them. You're talking about the second best overall defense in the league, the second best passing defense in the league. So they just match up really nicely against the Seahawks. They're going to be able to shut down elements of this Seahawks offense, not it completely, but elements of it. And when you then factor in just the porous Seattle defense, I just think that Wilson will find himself in another situation where he's having to score every time he gets the ball, and he won't be able to do it. So I'm going to take the Rams.
You're going to trust Jared Goff?
I'm actually trusting their defense more than I'm trusting Jared Goff, but I am trusting that he will be productive enough to put Wilson under pressure.
Just out of interest, do you think the fresh off the bye thing matters that much? Just curious on that one, basically.
I think it matters when you see teams that historically, like certain coaches who do extremely well, because I think what you see is that some coaches, when they get given that extra week to prepare for their next opponent, just do a really great job. Like Bill Belichick coming off a bye does well. I don't think it matters necessarily all that much from the rest perspective. And I think if you looked at the teams coming off a bye, their record of, I don't know it, but off the top of my head, my kind of gut feeling is that it's mixed. I also feel like when a team wins, they'll attribute it like just came off a bye, super rested and well prepared, and then they come off a bye and lose. It's like, wow, they were a little rusty because they haven't played in 10 days or 14 days. So I think it depends.
This is like the Chargers game. I'm completely torn up by it. You read one thing, you see one thing, you listen to something, and all the stats seem to make this a complete toss-up of which it is. I mean, I read this interesting stat that the Rams have won, I think it's 7 of the last 10 against the Seahawks. And I like that in divisional matchups. I think those kind of things matter because you play each other a lot. So they've got a momentum with them. But then I saw a stat with the Seahawks that since 2015, after a defeat, they've gone 23-6 straight up, following up, and 18-8-3 against the spread. So they do bounce back. So for that reason, I should like the Seahawks. Previous reason I like the Rams, but also the thing is, right, Russell Wilson isn't going to do what he did last week. It's not going to happen again. But the thing is, that defense is just so leaky. It's so bad that Russell Wilson has to be better to stop the Rams.
Would you say the defense is frail?
No, absolutely not.
Sam, if you just want just having quickly looked at the stats, since 2010, 17 teams have a winning record after their bye week. So it's nearly 50-50 there. It's not. And fundamentally, when you look since 2010, all the teams with winning records are teams that are have been good since 2010, and all the teams with losing records after their bye are teams that have been bad since 2010.
So basically, they just keep going. The bye doesn't
Yes.
seem to do anything. Okay.
Well, what it does seem to show is that if you are a good team, that you're probably in a good position to win after your bye week. Now, interestingly enough, which team do you think has the best percentage win record coming off a bye?
Ravens.
Patriots.
No, it is the Atlanta Falcons, who are 10-3 since 2010 after their bye week.
What are the Ravens?
Then-
I always thought John Harbaugh had that thing where he was really good coming off a bye.
The Ravens are 9-4.
Oh, all right. Well, it's pretty close.
New England is 15-5, so they're 75%. They're just below. The Saints are just. There's a few team in the 70s. The Colts. Interesting enough, the Lions, the Patriots, the Saints, and the Falcons are all above 70%. And then there are the team that is by far and away the worst coming off a bye week. The Jets.
Jets.
Who are,
oh, come on. Half a second just give me. I had that one.
They are 2-8.
I was saying it.
2-8 coming off a bye.
I don't know. I really don't know about this game. There's a part of me that just thinks like, right, so the Seahawks lost to the Bills, a really good Bills team, but we know that the Seahawks can be better. And then you had the Rams where before the bye, they lost to the Dolphins and looked a little bit questionable in that, like pretty bad. I think I'm going to go Seahawks. I just think that following up what was a pretty bad loss, they'll do it this time, and I think Wilson will be good. But it's a complete toss up. I know the betting suggests that as well, but it really is in my head as well, stat wise, opinion wise. But I'm going to go Seahawks. All right. 49ers at the Saints, and the Saints are 9-point favorites. Eddie, you want to kick us off with Niners Nation?
I think the Niners Nation is hibernating until next year. So there's no way the Niners win this game. And as for the spread, I think it's a little bit unlucky that the Saints are coming off their best performance of the year. And so this spread is maybe 2 or 3 points higher than it would have been if this game had been played a week ago. So that's a little bit tricky for me because it feels like a slight overreaction. And are we going to get the same Saints that we saw last Sunday, or are we going to get the Saints that we saw up until Sunday? In which case, the idea of that previous Saints team covering a 9-point spread is just impossible. But I'm going to think that now with Michael Thomas back, even if he wasn't heavily involved on Sunday, it just opens up their game a little bit. And even if Breeze drops off slightly from how good he was on Sunday, that they will still win this game and cover the spread.
Yeah, so the Niners, no Jimmy G, George Kittle, Nick Bosa, Richard Sherman, Raheem Mostert, Western Richburg, Solomon Thomas, D. Ford, Quan Alexander, Quan Williams. I had no idea they had so many injuries. That's crazy.
You didn't even name them all. You didn't even say George Kittle.
I said George Kittle. He was the second
Did you?
one.
Did
You
mention,
just got lost. You just got lost in the sound of Jimmy G.
Did you
There's just so many
mention
names.
Did you mention like Deebo Samuel as well?
So he might come back. He's been practicing, or
He won't come back.
He's not been practicing. but
He'll never come back.
He might be back.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea they were so injured. I mean, that's crazy.
I mean,
how can a team be competitive with so many injuries?
I mean, every team in the NFL has that many injuries, right?
You know what? You are right, Eddie. You are.
It's just
You are
normal.
right. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, Eddie likes to bitch and complain about his team about how they're the only ones who get injured. So, I mean, you got to argue
No.
Jimmy G isn't even a starter.
That is not what
on
I've been
most
doing.
Teams.
No, I have
So look,
not
you
been
got-
complaining. I have not been complaining that they're the only team that suffer from injuries. I just think this particular season, they have been the hardest hit by injuries, and it is the reason why they have gone from Super Bowl contenders to a team that will not make the playoffs. It is the
Super Bowl pretenders.
okay.
Brilliant. Good wordplay. Good wordplay. Real burn Frank.
I've never heard that. I invented that.
I mean, Eddie, you got to look internal then. You got to look at your fitness coaches and physios, right? There's a reason
Well,
these
I mean,
guys keep getting injured.
The issue Eddie has is, I mean, Jimmy G would at best be a backup for any other NFL team, so it's not a big loss. Their running game, they can fill in anyone, so Raheem Mostert isn't a big one. Richard Sherman was washed up 6 years ago. Kittle, I mean, that guy's got spaghetti arms. He's the weakest tight end in the NFL.
Nick Bosa, to the spaghetti arms. It's incredible.
The Bosa family is always injured. So
gassed
and injured. I mean, you took what was he, the second pick overall after he was out the whole year in college coming into the draft. So hey, that's their fault for taking an injury prone player. I mean, this is, who knows? But with all that said, I cannot see the Niners being competitive here.
I like that you said that as if it was contradicting what you would set up.
I know.
Like, with all that being said, they do not stand a chance.
With all that being said, they do suck. So, no, the only thing that still always worries me about the Niners is they do have great coaching. And I think no matter who they put out there, there's that chance that a very well coached team with a lot of enthusiasm could play well. Then the Saints just look hot now. Maybe the Saints are finally getting it together and Breeze is able to throw more than 5 yards downfield. So I'm going to stick with the Saints, and I'll stick with the Saints to cover, even though it is a pretty large spread for what normally would be crazy against, the San Francisco 49ers. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Saints are probably the best team in the NFC right now, and you've already listed off the amount of injuries that the Niners have got. I think this is a pretty easy one for them to cover the spread as well. I remember they played out that 48-46 classic last year, so it kind of feels like we're a long way off that one again. But yeah, for me, this is a pretty easy one. I think we're seeing a pretty good Saints team at the moment, so yeah, I'll take them and to cover quite easily. All right. Next up is the Ravens at the Patriots, and the Ravens are 7-point favorites.
I'll make this easy. The Patriots could barely win last week. They had to pull out miracles to beat the New York Jets. The Ravens, yeah, they're much better. I understand Bill Belichick. He's a great schemer of defenses, and he's going to find a way to stop Lamar Jackson. Even if you find a way to stop Lamar Jackson, you still have to stop the other 10 players on the field, and the Patriots cannot. So I'll take the Ravens, and I'll take the points.
Was your hot take then that the Ravens are better than the Jets?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, with that knowledge, I might consider.
Interestingly, Flacco is now the quarterback for the Jets. So
I don't really think I need to say much here. I think this is a pretty easy one for the Ravens and the Patriots. I think all that game did against the Jets showed that Cam Newton still can't really do anything apart from that kind of like winning drive to set up a field goal. It all just sounds pretty pitiful, even just saying that against the Jets. So yeah, for me, this is pretty simple, and Ravens will cover.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you. This line actually to me seems surprisingly low. I would have actually sort of expected this to be a double-digit line. It surprises me that it's just, it's a touchdown, a score. That to me is just sort of historical respect for the Patriots and for Belichick. Because I think if you replace the name Patriots with the Cardinals and they'd had exactly these performances so far through the league, or say the Bills, so it's the same division, I think the Ravens would be 10-point favorites easily. So yeah, I feel fairly confident in taking the Ravens and the Ravens to cover.
Yeah, I feel like this is a Belichick effect on the spread here.
Yeah. And last up is the Vikings at the Bears, and the Vikings are 2.5-point favorites.
Yeah, it's a pretty good Monday night. So we have a good Thursday divisional matchup and a good Monday night divisional matchup. I mean, from a viewing perspective, the Bears aren't anything fun to watch. We had to suffer through one of their primetime games a few weeks ago, but at least it's a meaningful game. So I think that's pretty good. I will take the Vikings here. For me, the Vikings, this could be their chance to start making a push. I think they believe they have a run in them, and you have the Bears who are slumping. I think, you have two teams going opposite directions here. So I feel like this is a great chance for the Vikings to pick up another win, get closer to 500 and get back in this playoff race and to cover as well. So, I mean, they'll cover. The Bears offense is terrible. They're 31st and 32nd in about every statistical category in offense. So,
yeah, I think you've touched on the key point there, which is just the Bears just struggle to score points. So even if Kirk Cousins has a relatively bad game against a relatively decent, a good Bears defense, he probably only needs 19 points to win this game. If you tell me that the Vikings are going to get to 20, I feel pretty confident that they're winning. And if you tell me that he can get to 24, then I'm super confident he's going to cover that spread, because I don't see how the Bears possibly score more than 21. So on that basis, I'm definitely taking the Vikings, and I'm going to take them to cover the spread.
So the IV stays in.
IV stayed in. I've actually put an additional one in.
So you have a double Kirk Cousins IV running through your veins right now.
Yes.
Wow.
What does that mean for Kirk Cousins? Has he just been really depleted of all fluid?
Yeah, he's very frail.
Yeah. I think this is simple. Well, I'd take that just to end it here. I'd take the Vikings, because ultimately, if they're going to make these back-to-back wins count and a playoff run count, this has to be a win. I agree with Eddie that even though the Bears have a really good defense, fundamentally, if the Vikings score anything more than about 20, can you really see the Bears doing anything to get it close? No. The spread's below a field goal, so kind of even better in that respect. So I think the Vikings will win. I think the 2.5 is I think it's pretty generous as well. I would have had this one more around the kind of 5 or 6 mark, just below a touchdown. But so 2.5, it's simple.
Eddie, the real question is, who do you have putting in your IV? Because I hope it's not one of the NFL doctors. Otherwise, you're going to be like Trent Brown from the Raiders last week and have to be rushed to the hospital with a potential embolism.
No, it's Jimmy G.
Oh, he's good at that?
Yeah, he's got, just warm, kind eyes. So, and I'm not a big fan of needles, but he just comforts me through the experience.
Well, Jimmy G should be a little more selfish and maybe take some Kirk Cousins in for himself so he can become a decent QB.
I'll let him know.
All right. There we go. That's the NFL done this week. Which ones are you like? I don't know if you've got these in your bet of the week, but you can obviously say that a bit later. But what would you say is your most confident pick in there in terms of against the spread and the win?
I'm going to save that for my bet of the week.
Oh, okay.
Don't want to tease anything out. Make sure people hang on for the full episode.
Yep.
Keeping everything stum.
So I guess the rest of the podcast will kind of just dedicate to the Masters, which is in a very unusual time this year, much later than usual.
Yeah, an autumnal Augusta. They were doing interviews about it, and they were saying that because obviously one of the things about Augusta is how luscious and green it looks in the spring. But a lot of the golfers were saying that because the greens are browning off, that they're trying to make it run really fast, and that's going to affect people like DeChambeau. Really, but
Sam, just because Tiger Woods is defending his title does not make it correct to use language like that.
No, browning off, I said. They're getting rid of it.
But no, we do have to say, right, because even if we do have some Masters tips, obviously we're recording this on Thursday, so the first round is well underway. Paul Casey has the clubhouse lead at the moment at 7 under par, which is a pretty strong first round from a player who seems to do a good job of getting in contention and then never quite winning. But a number of sort of players you would have expected to be there or thereabouts had strong first rounds. In Schauffele's 5 under, Justin Thomas is 5 under midway through his round. Tiger Woods was 4 under on the day. So it's a pretty good day for a number. Dustin Johnson 3 under halfway through his round. So low scoring has to be said so far.
Yeah, it's a pretty good leaderboard right now. I mean, at the end of the day, I hope that you have a good Sunday going in. like the last major, where it makes it exciting and anyone can kind of win going in. And obviously that kind of backfired on the last one when DeChambeau pulled away towards the end. But if, like just looking at this leaderboard right now, you have 20 people. I mean, besides Paul Casey at 7 under, if you went down to the next at 5 under, you have 20 people between 3 under and 5 under after the first round. So it's really close. And it's a lot of good competitive golfers as well, which is nice. Like you have Schauffele, Justin Thomas, Woods, Matt Wolff, even John Ram. This could be fun.
I mean, obviously it's already started, so we all know. But what were your picks before this started, just out of interest? Because we didn't really get that chance to talk. But I guess for the listeners, excluding some of the first round at the moment, who would you have gone for?
Mine were genuinely Justin Thomas, who's obviously off to a good start, and Rory McIlroy. I kind of felt like
it's the same. Wait, did you pick them last time too?
Yeah, I'm just going to pick them every time. But to me, the logic, I mean, Justin Thomas has just been playing really well this year. And so he has been able to get himself in contention almost everywhere he's played. So in that respect, just seems like a solid pick. From Rory McIlroy's perspective, even though he's yet to win a Masters, he actually has been consistently, in the top 10 a lot of the time. And he felt pretty confident that the softer conditions would really suit his game. And even though he's been bad since the lockdown, he actually historically has played well around this time of year. The October-November time for Rory is traditionally a moment when he wins a couple tournaments. So things kind of seem to be coming right for him from that perspective, even if he isn't necessarily having the greatest first round of all time.
I actually agree that at this time of year, my two picks were going to be Rahm and Bubba Watson. And the reason for Rahm is because I think we mentioned it really early on in our podcast careers that there's a lot of people at the moment that are winning majors. There's not really anyone sweeping them all. There's a lot of really good players and they each seem to be winning majors. And Rahm is like the standout at the moment that hasn't and yet is still performing really well. And I just feel like he, post-lockdown, post-COVID, going through, is always placing really well. And he's always placing consistently, shooting consistently. So I think he's looking good. I think he's 3 under for his round, so he's in contention. The other one on a consistency is kind of the value bet for me was Bubba Watson. Again, over the past couple of tournaments, like the Zozo, he's actually posted some pretty good scores. He played a pretty consistent game, and he's currently 1 over through 11. Did you see that there's going to be a change to the cut this year? So they're saying 93 players, but what they're doing is rather than being 10 shots behind the leader is the cut, they're just doing top 50 and ties. So a lot of people are saying with the shortened days, this could create a real headache in terms of getting people teeing off. But because if you've got, theoretically, you could have all 93 tying in positions and they could all go through. It seems strange for me with the reduced hours as well. But yeah, I saw the change in the cut.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Unfortunately, in my preparation for the tournament, and obviously we had the really interesting look at President Warren Harding, historically considered to be the worst president in history, although Donald Trump might be giving him a run for his money. In the preparation for the tournament earlier in the year, it turns out Augusta, not a lot of great presidential facts. That being said,
why does it have to be presidential facts?
It doesn't. I got other ones, but I thought I'd try and have a theme. Now, there's only 2 interesting things. Only one president of the United States has ever been a member of Augusta. Can you guess who it was? Or is? I won't rule out the fact that he is a living president or a former living president. A living former president. Sorry.
Yeah.
A zombie. Abraham Lincoln, occasionally his corpse roams Augusta.
Yeah, I don't know. Is he living?
No, he's dead.
This doesn't really help very much, but
no.
Is it Harding?
No, historically considered to be a good president
Is it
for the most
FDR?
part. No. Yeah. Yeah, they built some special ramps for him.
What was
I'll
that
put you
fact
out
you
of
just gave?
I'll put you out of your misery. It was Eisenhower is the only president to have ever been a member of the
Oh,
club.
okay.
And the only other presidential fact of interest is that Ronald Reagan was once held hostage whilst playing around at Augusta when an armed local crashed his truck through the gate of Augusta and demanded to see the president while he was playing around. This is when he was president, but he was
Wait. He demanded to just watch the president play his round,
No,
or he
he
demanded
wanted
to
to speak.
see the president and he wanted to speak with them.
to see him. Yeah, he wasn't just a huge fan of Ronald Reagan's golf game.
Yeah.
I demand to be his caddy.
Yeah. I didn't know if it was some sort of like open prison kind of hostage situation where it's like, you're my hostage, but you can play through. You can keep kind of playing, like gun to the back of his head as he's swinging his iron.
But no.
So
here's
give
the
us your
interesting
best
thing.
fact. Give us your best fact.
I'm not going to go best fact, but in researching this, I was interested to know how difficult. Also, I kind of was under the impression that when you won the Masters, you became a member at Augusta. I thought that was the significance of being given the green jacket. As it turns out, that isn't true. It gives you the rights to go to the course, but you are not considered a full member. And there are actually only 2 living golfers, professional golfers, who are members at Augusta. One is Jack Nicklaus. The other is actually technically a former amateur, but extremely successful amateur. But no one else, no other current professional golfers are members. So that was interesting to find out. And then I tried to look into how do you become a member at Augusta, just in case they listen to this and they think, well, these 3 guys should definitely get memberships. As it turns out, one of the great rules as to how you become a member is to never let them know that you want to be a member. Supposedly that immediately rules you out. The other disappointing thing is, Frank, I'm afraid you may never be a member at Augusta, because one thing they are very strict on is being quiet. And you have to be quiet at all times.
You know what? I probably wouldn't fit in there.
No, quiet, no cell phones.
Hate
Wearing
top fives.
Wear your green jacket at all times when you're on the grounds, because you have to leave your jacket there. That's the other rule. So you, as the winner, you get to spend 12 months with your jacket out of the grounds, so that you can sort of go to photo shoots and various things. But once you are no longer reigning Masters champion, you have to put it back in a locker room, and it stays there and cannot leave the premises.
Wow. You can play once you get the green jacket. You're eligible to play the Masters for the rest of like your career as long as you want,
Yes.
don't you? Because that's why like Sandy Lyle is playing and people
Yes.
like that at the moment, because you've got these like 60-year-old men just like walking around. No one really understands why they're there. And it's like, I won the green jacket once. And it's like, of course you did, granddad.
Green
That's
jacket,
actually
gold jacket. Who gives a shit?
That's actually the interesting thing I found out too in looking into it. I always thought the green jacket was either a membership reward or was the prize, and that's what had created the idea of wearing this jacket. As it transpires, it was created because they were hosting the tournament, and they have their members sort of patrol the grounds to help people, non-members, find their way around. So they created the green jacket so that non-members would be able to identify members and then ask for assistance when they were attending the Masters. So it's basically like being a member of staff, being given the jacket. And actually, like during Augusta, members roam the grounds wearing their green jackets and a name badge.
Gotcha. See, now this is interesting because one of the questions I was going to bring up to you guys that we could discuss a little bit is whether getting the green jacket would be one of the best, let's call it a trophy award that you could get. But now looking back on it, you really only get to keep it for a year. So that kind of loses the argument. But for argument's sake, let's say you can keep it for more than a year. Is that kind of one of the cooler trophies that you could get, considering that, you know, you could go out on a Saturday night to a nice restaurant and throw on like your green Masters winning jacket.
No, because it's horrifically ugly.
Yeah, but if you walked in to any place and someone said, "Man, that's a really ugly jacket," the guy next to him is going to be like, "Dude, that's so and so. He won the Masters 4 years ago." And then they're like,
Well,
oh,
here's
yeah,
the thing
you're
is,
right.
I feel like people would only. So I have got to be like Tiger Woods for it to be like, oh no, it's not an ugly jacket. It's actually an incredibly prized item of clothing. But if you're just a random, like, say for example, they allowed their members to wear the jacket outside of the golf club, and you went out to dinner somewhere in like New York and you wore your green like Augusta members jacket. It's not exactly.
That's not what I'm saying though. I'm saying if you were a professional athlete, what trophy or award would you want to win
in golf?
No, in anything.
It has
like,
the
what would be like
advantage.
the coolest one? Do you know what I mean? So for instance, if you won, let's say the Stanley Cup, that's a great thing, but all you're getting is your name on the cup, and you really can never showcase it except that one day you get to keep it after you win, you know, and the rest of the time it's just locked up in the Hall of Fame. So like that's not a really a great award or trophy to win.
For
so
an
a good
individual.
one, like you as a person, which one would you want to win? So like a good one would be like the Heisman. Like that would be a pretty cool one because then you can put that on your mantle and everyone knows what the Heisman looks like. Do you know
Super
what I mean?
ugly
So it's
trophy.
iconic.
What about the Olympic gold?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
an
that's the
Olympic
other
gold
thing, it's a
medal,
medal,
and it's
right?
not close. It's an Olympic gold.
It's not close.
It's not close to me because
Especially
I
if
think
you get it in like the equestrian sports as well, like eventing. Like that's the one you want.
I think anyone in the world, like, okay, the Heisman's cool, but I think like if my mother went to someone's house and they had the Heisman trophy, she wouldn't care. She would obviously be interested if they explain the significance and stuff, but actually seeing it or whatever wouldn't mean anything to her. Whereas I think seeing and touching an Olympic gold medal would be interesting to anyone in the world. Like you could not like sports, but you'd be like, I want to touch the medal. I want to see how heavy it is. I want to see what it feels like. Like I would want to see the details on it. Like I think no matter who you are, even if you dislike sports, you would be interested in that.
So what about, are there any recognizable ones in maybe like tennis?
It's big trophies then. I mean, yeah, you get to keep your copy of the Wimbledon trophy. That would be pretty cool. But I mean, again, the advantage the Masters jacket has to it, and even actually an Olympic gold medal, is the portability, right?
Yeah, that and that's why I think it's cool, because see what you're saying about it being ugly, I think makes it that much cooler of a trophy in quotations to win, because then if you do wear it out, someone would be like, "Man, that's the ugliest fucking jacket I ever saw, bro." And you could be like, "Yeah, listen, I won the Masters. Go fuck off." You know, like it has that play. You know, you can really play into it.
I would actually say that maybe the claret jug is in golf probably maybe more famous to have. It's the oldest for a start.
Ooh.
I'm going to say the claret jug would be.
What about
because
the-
it's small for a start. It's small. It's historic. But actually, I just read about it, and that's something you're only allowed to keep for a year. Then you give it back, and then you get a replica for the rest of the time. So I guess theoretically you do get one. But
now wait. Speaking of that, here's a good question then. Let's say you're a not so great golfer, and you go out, play the 4 rounds of your life, win the Masters, get your green jacket for the year. Do you then go out and get an exact replica green jacket so that you can continue to wear a green jacket and hope that no one knows that the real one gets returned? And that's like your claim to fame?
I don't think so, because everything that I was looking into about Augusta is they're so strict. Like they don't allow their members to speak about being members outside of Augusta. Like all of these sorts of things.
The first rule of Fight Club.
Yeah, it is Fight Club. It's the original Fight Club. It is the original Fight Club, but for men in their 70s and 80s. The average age of Augusta membership is 71 at the moment.
Jeez.
And
Christ,
it's
they're going to
capped.
need new members soon.
That's
Well,
got to
you can only
turn
be-
over soon.
You can only become a new member when someone dies or gives up, is kicked out or gives up their. The other thing I thought was quite cool is that you get billed. So all the things that like, not dinners from what I understand, but you can go and stay there and all the kind of facilities that you can use at Augusta when you're a member. You just receive one bill at the end of the year.
Wow, that's got to be a massive bill.
Well, no. So for example, the interesting thing is because they make so much money from the Masters that I mean, that's one of the things people always say, right? Is that it's the cheapest or the least expensive golfing tournament to attend as a spectator, where like a beer is $5, a sandwich is $3. Like they make everything really affordable because they make so much money from the brand as a whole. And they have the same thing for members. So the dinners are all really reasonably priced. To stay a night there costs $100 if you're a member.
Wow.
So, everything is cheap, relatively speaking. Even from a membership standpoint, the initial fee that you have to pay to become a member is between $40,000 and $50,000, which sounds like a lot, but when you compare it to other super prestigious golf courses, it's really not a lot. And then the annual dues are $5,000, which again, compared to prestigious golf courses is nothing.
Just to give you an idea, St Andrews in Scotland, I think, is about 100,000.
Never heard of it.
Pretty sure it's in Scotland, but I know that's not what you meant, but the way you threw the "I think" in was like I think. But yeah. So from what I saw, I think Wentworth is the highest. It's £170,000 a year. So I mean, on those grounds, Augusta looks an absolute bargain.
I would say another funny one would potentially be winning the Ashes,
and having you don't get to personally keep
but you don't get to keep it. I know,
No.
But then the whole irony of it being like this tiny little trophy that we have seen in person.
Yeah,
yes,
it's permanently in the MCC, isn't it? Like that's the fun story, is that the Aussies, even if they win, they never truly get it.
You never get the true one, and it's like super tiny. It's like the size of a coffee mug.
Do you know what's in it? Do you know the story, Frank?
No, is the person who invented cricket, his ashes in there?
No.
That would be so
What, in that tiny, like he was like 1 foot tall? No, I mean, Eddie, correct me if I'm wrong with the details, but it's to do with...
Wait, real quick, describe what the ashes is first.
It's literally the ashes of wickets that were burnt at Lord's.
The bales, yeah, I think.
Yeah, the bales were burnt because England lost pretty humiliating to the Aussies. I can't remember why, and people ran on the pitch and burnt the bales, basically as like it should never happen again kind of thing.
Okay.
The bales are, if you imagine the 3 stumps in the ground, the bales are the 2 pieces of wood that sit on top of those 3 stumps.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So that explains why the ashes are relatively small. And so, yes, they are contained within this very tiny sort of jug almost, but it's very, very small. And the thing is, they do this, not that it's intentionally misleading, but normally when you see a picture of it, it's obviously a close-up picture. So if you've only seen a few pictures in your head at first, you imagine it to be a normal sized trophy. You obviously see it every year not every 2 years when they win. You'll see the team holding the replica of it. So you see the size then. But it can at times, you could go a little bit of time thinking that you were going to see some normal sized trophy, and then you see this sort of thimble of ashes.
And for those who don't know about the Ashes, it's a Test cricket series between England and Australia, and it's been going on since what, like late 1800s, right?
1882.
Yeah.
The trophy is 10.5 centimeters high.
It's so tiny.
I just brought it up now. So it's to do with there was great debate about Australia defeating England. So they wrote an obituary in a newspaper. And then there's something to do with so many people were upset about it that they literally burned things and kept them in a thing. So
that's 4 inches for Americans. That is a tiny trophy. It's to the point where you can almost not even hold it. So the other good Masters thing I had was the Tuesday dinner. So I don't know if you guys saw this, but
The champions, yeah.
every Tuesday before the start of the Masters, all the champions get together and have dinner together. And the person who won it last sets the menu. So this year the menu was set by Tiger. This was his menu. Okay. So they all follow the same things: appetizer, dinner, dessert, 3-course. So his appetizer was the Augusta roll: tempura shrimp, spicy tuna, avocado, eel sauce, tempura flakes, pickled ginger, wasabi, soy sauce. So standard, kind of like sushi shrimp tempura roll. His dinner was prime steak and chicken fajitas, grilled vegetables, refried beans, Mexican rice, pico, sour cream, guacamole, flour, tortillas. His dessert was a dessert trio of classic flan, churros, and sopapillas, and then 2 different wines. So he went kind of strange to me in a somewhat Asian/Mexican theme, which I didn't really understand where that was coming from. The first time he won in 1998, he would have been what? How old? Was he like
19, I think?
Right, 18, 19, right? That year, his menu was cheeseburgers, chicken sandwiches, French fries, and vanilla and strawberry milkshakes.
Isn't that the time when the other golfer joked that it was going to be fried chicken? Wasn't that the...
Yes, it was. Oh, no.
The kind of racist
Was it
jive.
Garcia? Was it Garcia?
I don't think it was Garcia.
I know Garcia said something that was like a racist jibe. But we're also forgetting, Eddie, I know you did your presidential things, but Tiger Woods was my presidential ticket. So,
that's true. That is true.
Future President Tiger, yeah.
So in regards to that, I then found, since 1986, all of the menus. Are there any in particular that you would be interested in hearing?
Since when, sorry?
Since 1986.
Okay, let's do 87, my birthday.
Well,
so what was the one after?
So I will say,
actually, I don't have 87. Sorry.
so do you have 86 and then 88 for some reason?
I have 86 and then 89 for some reason.
So I know Sandy Lyle had haggis. I know that's
Sandy Lyle, 1989, had haggis, mashed potatoes, and mashed turnips.
Yeah, it's awful. Now you do have, this is the interesting thing, you do have the option of just ignoring what they've provided and ordering from the standard menu if you don't like anything they've done.
Yeah, and you see there's a trend that it's usually representative of their nationality.
I'd like to know what VJ Singh had.
Okay, so I was going to say Nick Faldo's was fish and chips. VJ Singh had, oh boy, seafood tomka, chicken curry, baked sea scallops with garlic sauce, rack of lamb with yellow curry sauce, baked filet chili and sea bass with 3 flavor chili sauce, and then light cheese sorbet for dessert.
What about the South Africans? I'm trying to think. Ernie Els. Did Goosen win it as well? And then there's the other one. I can't remember his name.
Louis Oosthuizen.
Oosthuizen, yeah. What did the South Africans have? Was it Nando's?
When did Louis Oosthuizen win?
I don't know if Oosthuizen actually won the Masters. I think he won a different major. I think he won the Open.
Who'd you say? Ernie Els?
Ernie Els has won the Masters, pretty sure.
Yeah. His isn't on here, but I had seen it before. It was something representative of South Africa.
Did everyone just get a blood diamond? You can't eat it, but you can shove it down the neck of one of the African American servers. This is what you're allowed to do.
Well, are you just going for the film Blood Diamond here? Like, did he basically, the starter was asked if you want short sleeved or long sleeved?
Yes, exactly. Perfect. Yes, exactly. And that's what inspired Leonardo DiCaprio just happened to be in attendance. Matt Damon was there too.
No, I swear was it Schwarzel? Or Immel?
Oh, great.
No, Immelman was in, Charles Schwarzel. Wasn't he South African?
When did he win?
I got it here, 2011.
Phil Mickelson won 2011. Charles Schwarzel won 2012. Okay. Opening course consisting of a chilled seafood bar, which includes shrimp, lobster, crab meat, crab legs, and oysters. The main course is it's a braai, a South African barbecue. A braai includes lamb chops, steaks, and South African sausages, aka blood diamond sausages. Dessert of vanilla ice cream sundae. Also in the mix are salads, cheeses, plus sides such as sauteed sweet corn, green beans, and potatoes.
Interesting.
Blood diamond sausage is tough on the teeth, isn't it?
What did Phil Mickelson serve up? Was it just a pair of soft, moist tits?
So Mickelson, actually,
like a cake, and they're like whipped cream. And
Mickelson's kind of sound like they definitely suit his physique. So the first one in 2005 when he won was lobster ravioli and a tomato cream sauce. That just sounds like something he eats 3 pounds of with like 8,000 calories. And also had Caesar salad and garlic bread. His next one was 2011. He had a Spanish-themed menu with seafood paella and filet mignon as the entrees. Also includes a salad course, asparagus, and tortillas as sides. I don't know why you throw just tortillas with paella. That doesn't make sense. Plus ice cream topped apple and piñata for dessert.
This just sounds, Phil Mickelson's menus just sound like what you would get at a reasonably nice country club. That's basically what he's gone for.
I missed 2007 when he won. That was not what you'd have in a nice country club. Barbecued ribs, chicken, sausage, and pulled pork with coleslaw. Unless your country club is down south.
Well, which this one happens to be. But that's the thing is, again, I like the people who do try and bring something regional. I guess it's harder for Phil Mickelson. Although having a Spanish theme seems a little bit weird.
Was it possibly a year that he beat Sergio Garcia? Is he just rubbing it in?
Wait, did Garcia win though?
Yes,
Garcia won
2018.
2 years ago. 3 years ago, I guess now.
Oh, his menu began with an international salad with ingredients chosen to represent the countries of past Masters champions. Doesn't say what though. The entree was arroz caldoso de bogavante, a traditional Spanish lobster rice. And for dessert, Garcia chose his mother's recipe for tres leches cake, which Tiger Woods says was the worst he's ever had in his life.
Wait, is that true, or did you make that up?
No, I made that up.
That
which Tiger Woods said tasted like dog shit. So Tiger Woods has evolved over the years in his taste for food. So he started with the cheeseburgers. Then his next one in 2002 went to the porterhouse steak and chicken with the sushi appetizer. Then in 2013, he brought back the porterhouse steak, chicken, and sushi. And then also on the menu, he added some sashimi, salad, crab cakes, asparagus, mashed potatoes, and a chocolate truffle cake. He just went for it in 2003. That was probably the height of his, I'm about to back out of my driveway and hit a car and ruin my life stage.
Yeah, each attendee was given a burner phone as well.
with a preloaded number of a woman of their choosing.
100 of their choosing.
2006. Then he starts to switch into this Mexican theme. He did stuffed jalapeno and quesadilla appetizers with salsa, guacamole, steak fajitas, chicken fajitas, and apple pie and ice cream for dessert. And then he didn't win for a while after that. That was the end. That was the beginning of the end.
What do you think if DeChambeau wins it this year? What do you think it'll be like? Just protein shakes next year?
That would actually be pretty funny if he did that. And then you have your Englishman in 2017.
Joke, that would actually be a good joke, but he doesn't have the sense of humor necessary to do that. But even if he did just put on like a gourmet protein shake as like
power bars like stuck in it.
It's like the amuse bouche, but he doesn't have the sense of humor.
2017 was a good one.
I cannot imagine. I mean, Danny Willett is such a wet sponge that I cannot imagine what he's going to deliver up is going to be great.
You want to take a guess?
Soup.
No. So here's the hint I'll give you. He does like a plate that is pretty representative of England.
A full English breakfast.
Oh wait,
Close.
what about a ploughman's?
Oh, bangers and mash.
He did a Sunday roast.
Okay.
That would be pretty good though. That's pretty fitting for a.
Yeah, so his menu was to start mini cottage pies. Then he did a traditional Sunday. Yeah, mini.
Meat and potato for your starter before meat and potato for your main.
So for those who don't know, it's similar to a shepherd's pie, but made with beef rather than lamb, according to the website. And then the entree
that's not just according to the website. That's what it is.
Yeah,
I know.
Do you have a different take on it?
It's very easy. Shepherds take care of sheep, so shepherd's pie, lamb.
And then the Sunday roast was prime rib, roasted potatoes and vegetables, and Yorkshire pudding.
That'd be good.
One of the best things, Yorkshire puddings. They are one of the best.
Are you
things.
happy I pronounced it correctly?
Yeah, you did well. Always been one of those interesting things to me that it hasn't taken off in the U.S. because in many ways it seems like the perfect American food.
Yorkshire pudding?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You must have. Yeah. Because you can also make a meal in it. You can actually put all of the ingredients in the Yorkshire pudding, like a giant Yorkshire pudding.
Kind of like a pie almost.
Or like a toad in a hole. Yeah.
Yeah, toad in a hole as well. Yeah.
That would go down well at Augusta.
Well, if Casey wins, maybe we should tell him on our podcast, toad in a hole.
Yeah, there we go. There's our suggestion. So if he does toad in the hole, it's because he's a listener. All we need him to do now is win. So should we then discuss our bets of the week? See if Sam's bleeding out. He is struggling. He is on the operating table. They are frantically trying to save his life. They have pulled out. I apologize for what I'm about to say, but they have pulled out the desquidulator, and they are desperately trying to save him.
I don't know what to do here. I'm at a
Maybe-
loss. I'm bleeding out. I'm bleeding cash, guys.
So just
Maybe
to give
Sam needs to pass his bet on to Sam the Squid and let the Squid choose. And
I
not
actually,
let
honestly,
educated
for
Sam
week,
choose.
the problem was because I know something about NFL. I honestly was tempted just to let this week just be like almost point and pick, basically. But I couldn't do it. I know enough for that to be a stupid idea. So,
because here's just to give this state of play to everyone listening. So we all started with 100,000 fictional dollars. We started in week 6. Since then, Sam has not had a winner in his bets of the week, and he's down to 50,000 remaining. Frank and I, we've both had a couple winners each. I'm currently now, so my bet of the week last week won, and that pushed me up to 118,900. And Frank had 2 bets of the week, one of which won, which has put him back to 75,000. So 25,000 down on the year, but he was at 60,000 last week, so profitable last week.
Okay, I've got mine ready, locked and loaded.
go for it. Fire away.
So I'm going to roll over my winnings, so just the 15. And I'm going to get a little risky on this one. I need the home run shot. Now's the time. So I'm going a 4-team parlay, all money line. Throw those spreads out. I don't need those points. Give me the Bills, the Seahawks, the Titans, and Penn State 0-3 against Nebraska. That pays out 13-1. Put my $15K on that bet. Again, Bills, Seahawks, Titans, Penn State. Football.
Interesting and bold, coming off a Penn State humiliation last week.
Yes. But if there's anything I know is Nebraska could be the worst team in the Big Ten. And eventually Penn State has to turn around and win. They aren't that bad of a team to go 0-4.
I feel like the frank approach of eventually this football team has to turn it around has not aged very well so far.
I mean, they have a significantly better team than Nebraska. And, they have a good QB in Clifford, and they should be dominating Nebraska. Although while you guys are picking, did any of you hear the story from the running back on Penn State?
No.
Journey Brown is his name. He had to retire from football because they found out he had an enlarged heart. And because now he's at like a high risk for literally dying on the field from the enlarged heart.
What a way with words you have. A high risk of literally dying.
I mean, like it's if you like you can't do physical like high demanding aerobic sports with it anymore. So that's like there was a really famous marathoner who died from an enlarged heart during the U.S. Olympic trials for the marathon. It was like a really sad story. He was actually one of the contenders to win the trial and died during the trial. So yeah, it was actually pretty sad because he was definitely going to be Journey Brown would have been an NFL pick for sure. He was the one, I don't know if you had last year when they played Memphis in the bowl game, he like destroyed it, had 200 plus yards or something like that. So this would have probably been his last year and then probably would have went into the draft. But yeah, that kind of sucks. I mean, that's a shitty way to go out. Like nothing you can tell is wrong with you. And then one day a doctor's like, yeah, I'm sorry to tell this, but you can't play football anymore. Sorry. Like seemingly waking up feeling fine and then having be told you can't play anymore.
I've got my bet of the weekend, and I'm going simple treble or 3-team accumulator, all moneyline NFL, and that is the Buccaneers, the Saints, and the Eagles. I'm going to stick $25,000 on it, and it returns 2.68.
Wow, it's crazy. We each have 3 NFL teams, and none of them overlap.
That is impressive. So if you put both bets on, you might have a chance.
All right. So for me, question. There's a horse I like tomorrow at Cheltenham. Are you going to let me have it? It depends when this airs.
I will.
Okay. I will.
All right. So for me, there's rugby this weekend with the Autumn Nations Cup, which is like a new format thing. And Scotland.
He's going deep. He's going deep into his bag of tricks.
These are. So I really like Ireland playing Wales. I think it's a good bet. They're about 1-4, but I think Ireland are a good team, really good team. Scotland are away to Italy, and again, I think Scotland are pretty decent, so I think that's a pretty good bet. I'm also going to take the Raiders money line against the Broncos, and jumps. I'm really happy to see it back. Really happy to see Cheltenham, and one of my kind of favorite courses at Cheltenham is the cross country chase in the middle, with all the kind of undulations, the ups and downs. It's a brilliant race to watch. And the 3:00 at Cheltenham tomorrow, so Friday today when this airs, there's the return of a horse called Easy's Land, and it's reuniting its rivalry with Tiger Roll. Now, the thing with Easy's Land, it'll probably go off it's 4-6 at the moment in the odds, but this horse last year beat Tiger Roll in the Cheltenham Festival by 17 lengths, pretty similar ground. Before that, in this equivalent cross-country chase, it beat Amazing Comedy by 7 lengths, even though Tiger Roll has now got a closer weight against it. Easy's Land's a really good horse. And so I think 4-6 is a good bet. So you've got to put for me a 10-21, a 4-6, a 1-5, 1-4.
It's 3.63.
Yeah. So 3.63 for me. And I am teetering on going all in, but I think I've got one.
You can't go all in because then it defeats the purpose of this.
Yeah.
Wow. You say I'm bleeding out.
Well, because it also means that you're either out or you would be winning. Like it's the move.
Oh,
It's kind of
what's
like
wrong?
gaming the system in a way because you're not obviously facing the real life consequences of bankruptcy,
All right.
but you're basically like,
I am going to go 15K.
Going against Tiger Roll, a ballsy move with no money left.
I mean, the Cheltenham Festival, Easy's Land, absolutely hosed Tiger Roll.
Okay.
And it needed, so Tiger Roll's had the run. It had it on the flats, which we mentioned a couple of weeks ago as a weird one, but they blew the cobwebs off fine. It's got a closer weight to Easy's Land. Easy's Land is a 6-year-old horse. Tiger Roll is an old horse. But this Easy's Land has now cleaned up the cross-country race twice, and it's an impressive feat to be doing that. It's only a 6-year-old horse as well. It's a really impressive horse. So I think 4 to 6 is good value.
Well, there you have it. Sam's going way deep into his bag of tricks to go with a Friday Cheltenham horse selection in what was it? The Autumn Cup Rugby selections and an NFL Raiders pick.
Surprising he didn't take England, who are 40-point favorites against.
What, 1 to 500 to win?
Yes. Well, safe.
I'll tell you what I was leaning towards making my bet of the week is you have the UEFA Nations League starting back up this weekend, and I really like Belgium on a little revenge tour against England.
The BBC posted this team made up of Football Manager wonder kids from the 2011 version of Football Manager. So Frank, for anyone who plays FM, each version of the game comes out with, I'd say, around 50 wonder kids maybe, who just, once everyone knows it's the players you're desperate to sign, they're players sort of 21 or under, high potential players, so you buy them and then they'll develop. And
so wait, real quick, Football Manager already, like, they've kind of set the attributes in, like, you don't know, but they've already identified who theirs are and just put them in the game, and then once you select them and go through the seasons, you realize who they are, kind of.
So what you'll have is, with your players, I'm not going to do the best job of explaining this, but you'll have the current ability of the player and then you have the potential ability of a player. And the game kind of caps what it thinks the potential ability of it is, but then it gets randomized. So if you play it, like if I play the game one time, then Lionel Messi would have turned out to be the best player in the world, and you might have played it another time and Lionel Messi turns out to be very good, but not that great. So you never know. It will depend on the team that they are and the kind of coaching they receive, how much playing time they get. So there are some factors that you control that can affect it, but it's kind of randomized in your version of the game each time. Now, the BBC released this team of 11 wonder kids, all of whom were playing in England in 2011 when the game was released. Now, it's fair to say that none of these players fulfilled their potential. Certainly none of them developed into wonder kids. The interesting and maybe slightly depressing thing is 3 of them have gone on to play for Blackburn Rovers.
So obviously they just play Football Manager.
Yeah. Now, Sam or Frank, you're familiar. 2 of them have played for, well, they've all played for Blackburn, obviously relatively recently, because we're not talking about that old version of a game. Can you guess which Blackburn players of recent seasons, one of whom still plays for Blackburn, are listed as wonder kids in 2011?
So what's the age in 2011 that there would be a wonder kid?
I think officially it's under 21 or under, I believe.
No, I don't know if this is too early. It might be hilarious. You can laugh at me. All the viewers can laugh at me. Was Matt Jansen by chance one of them?
No. Matt Jansen by 2011 had a horrific car injury. He had been in a coma, and you're so. For context, Frank, Matt Jansen was a Blackburn Rovers player who had a couple of very good seasons and he was picked in the preliminary England squad for the 2002 Football World Cup.
There we go. I knew I got my timings. I thought I got my timings wrong, but I just
a little bit
put it
off.
in there.
And then in the end, Sven-Göran Eriksson, Matt Jansen missed the final warm-up game because he had the flu and he didn't play. I think it was against Chile, if I remember correctly, but that could be way off. Didn't play. And then in the end, Eriksson decided that they didn't need an extra attacking option. They needed an extra defensive option. And so instead of Jensen, he took Martin Keown. In the end, Martin Keown played a total of 0 minutes over the course of the World Cup as England lost in the quarterfinals to Brazil. Matt Jensen, in order to take his mind off of the World Cup, went on holiday with his girlfriend to Rome, and at one point decided to rent some scooters and zip around the Colosseum. And he was hit by a taxi driver and had a very severe accident, was in a coma for 3 days. And when he awoke from his coma, couldn't remember who he was or what football was, and then had to go through several years of rehabilitation in which he learned how to play football again and never really hit the heights that he had once promised to have.
His recovery was a wonder kid.
Yes.
All right.
It was an incredible recovery, the fact that he ever played Premier League football again, but no. Anyway, any other?
Okay, I know.
I've got two.
I've
got two.
One of them is Lewis
Wait, no,
Holtby.
you already went.
No, I'm going. It's Lewis Holtby because he was Schalke. And I remember Schalke had some good players.
Lewis Holtby is one of them, yes.
You're an asshole.
He is. And Frank definitely was going to get him because then the current players, Frank was going to get him. I'll give you each a point for that one. Can you get either of the other two?
They don't play anymore.
For Blackburn, no. They still both currently play football.
Did they play last year for Blackburn?
One of them played 2 seasons ago.
Oof.
I'll give you another clue on the one that played 2 seasons ago. He most recently will have been famous for a somewhat starring role in a documentary.
That doesn't help me.
It is Jack Rodwell, who of course was famous for his little part in the documentary about Sunderland when he was refusing to leave the club and give up his enormous salary. And the final one, just because you definitely won't get it, is Delfonso. Now, the one that will bring back the most memories for you, Sam, from this list of Wonder Kids is definitely Sonogo, who for a while in Football Manager was just an unbelievable goal scorer. And he is never
like Bordeaux, wasn't he, or something like that in the game? Yeah.
So now you're saying there's none of them really panned out from this year, from the 2011?
I'll give you the full list. So it's Smithies, Wilson,
Alex Smithies,
Coates, Muniesa, Bebe from Manchester United.
Oh, wow. I think Ferguson's come out and said that was his worst ever signing.
Yeah. I mean, the former homeless man who turned into a weird signing for Manchester United. McEachern, Ravel Morrison, Jack Rodwell, Lewis Holtby, Delfonso, and Sonogo.
I remember those.
It's not the best list of Wonder Kids. They've obviously intentionally chosen failures, I will say. So it's a little bit unfair. But it was an interesting one to look at in the moment when I realized 3 fairly recent Blackburn players were on there. It was just a bit disappointing.
Is that okay? So do you think that's indicative of them being good at scouting or them being really bad at scouting and signing, that they wait till after other teams have given up on players that had been predicted to be good, so then they take them to give them a shot?
Probably, yeah. I wouldn't give the Blackburn scouting department very high marks. Ever since the Mark Hughes era ended, basically, I think that was the end of the finding diamonds in the rough. Mark Hughes found several during his time in Craig Bellamy, Roque Santa Cruz, Chris Samba. You know, he had quite a few that came out. I think technically Morten Gamps Pedersen was, I think actually Pedersen might have been a Hughes signing, now that I think about it. But ever since then, no, they're just predictable. I do wish sometimes, I mean, Football Manager is praised regularly for the way that its database is accurate on predicting great players. And I wish sometimes, now Everton famously paid to see to go under the hood on the Football Manager database, and they use it as a scouting tool. they aren't alone in that respect. Lots of football clubs do use it as a rough guide as to know where to look. Sometimes I wish Blackburn could have just listened to who the Football Manager wonder kids were and then just go after them. I mean, Lewandowski is a good example. He was great in the game for a few years when he was just plying his trade in Poland. And obviously Blackburn came incredibly close to signing him. But if you just pulled the trigger on some of these guys, I think you'd be profitable just on going with, let's sign 10 Football Manager wonder kids and hope that one of them pays off.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think for next week, for Monday, not that I think any of us are going to win the Masters. Who knows? Still up in the air. Maybe we can fly out there and get a quick first round in before sundown. We should think about what your menu would be. And Eddie, maybe you can even throw this on Twitter for people to reply on to what they think their menu would be if they won the Masters.
All right. I'll put that out there. We'll see what.
I'm very interested in Eddie's, actually, because he is a self-proclaimed American who
wait, no.
who calls himself English but lives in France his whole life.
None of
very
those
interested
facts.
To see what he picks.
Almost none of
Are
the
you gonna
facts
do? Are you gonna do
true.
like one of each? Like, is your appetizer gonna be like escargot? Your main course is gonna be like something English, and then your dessert's gonna be like apple pie.
So I'm gonna do escargot, toad in the hole,
and apple pie,
and then a ice cream sundae.
That sounds so bad.
And my goal is to eliminate former champions as my competitors. So I'm gonna order from the traditional Augusta menu, and I'm gonna let all of them get food poisoning.
All right. Well, let's hope for a little better on our weekend bets, except for Sam. I kind of want to see Sam just collapse. I want to have to know what we're gonna have to do when someone hits zero.
I'm gonna loan. I'll loan and pay you back if I come good.
Yeah, we'll introduce that rule. We can loan him money from our fictional prize pot.
But then we get a higher percentage of the winnings.
Yeah, we get to charge him interest. We negotiate on air what interest rate he takes. I will also say we also discussed the fact that on Monday we'll do our mid-season, although slightly after mid-season, sort of NFL awards and maybe power rankings. I'm just going to say now that the winner of the Hewitt mid-season MVP award will be given a beautiful purple jacket.
Why purple?
Well, some of the others are taken, right? Like other colors get used. Green's taken. The kind of yellow is like gold is taken by the Football Hall of Fame.
I think our MVP pick is going to be completely split. I think we're going to be 1-1-1.
Here's a question. Which jacket is uglier, the Football Hall of Fame jacket or the Masters jacket?
I mean, the fact that it's gold, it's got to be the Masters jacket is nicer looking. A gold jacket sounds awful.
It's not even gold. It's like puke gold.
Yeah, okay, now it's better. Sorry,
I changed. Yellow.
I'll change my decision then. Now it's a bit more pukey.
It looks like you bought a jacket in 1975 and then left it in the sun ever since then, and it just kind of like gradually faded over time, and then you decided to put it on, and they were like, here's the greatest honor of your life. You finally made it into this elite club. We're recognizing your lifetime achievements and contributions to the sport we all love. Put this piece of shit on.
Oh, actually, I forgot. Today is Ryan Gosling's birthday, so shout out, happy birthday to Ryan Gosling. And never forget how terrible of a cornerback he was in Remember the Titans. Quite possibly the biggest liability on the football field you've ever seen.
Also famous for wearing a jacket in one of his defining career roles.
Yep. But what they did say about him, Eddie, was he wasn't much of a player on the field, but he's a great locker room presence. Really good for the locker room. You know, he liked to do all the singing. He got the group kind of into it. Ain't no mountain high enough. He was a locker room guy.
I say this too, then next week, let's also throw in the discussion of our top 5.
Oh, I love a top 5.
Movie or TV athletes if their characters were real life personas.
So explain it a little more.
So, like, you could say that Rocky as a boxer is the greatest boxer of all time. I mean, I'm not arguing this. So, therefore, like, the Rocky Balboa character from the movies is like he's in the pantheon of movie athletes. Or you could do it, or you could spin it and go character based, like you said. Like, I could want the goalie from the Mighty Ducks because of what he brings to the team in terms of chemistry.
Got it. Okay. So like Willie Beeman, not on my top 5. not a locker room guy, selfish on the field, never gonna be a consistent winner like that.
Yeah, exactly. Or you could say Happy Gilmore, greatest athlete of all time, unstoppable golf player, would have never.
We're
lost.
starting to see a real life Happy Gilmore with a jackass who just swings out of his shoes.
Yeah, it's true. It's not far off. See, there I like him again too. If you have like a hockey stickish kind of putter, if he like embraced the character a little bit, if he hired a coach with a missing hand, like if he had something going where he was just like
that might not be his fault. There may be a short supply of very successful golf coaches with one hand, and the other hand being
I love it when he smacks his wooden hand. I love it when he smacks his wooden hand.
Don't worry, it's made of wood, real sturdy.
Well, then his coach needs to take one for the team and lop his hand off.
That's funny. Yeah, well, I would like Deschambault more if he had any type of personality and wasn't a complete asshole.
Yeah. Yeah,
right.
I mean, look, the one thing which we've talked about, at least he's created a kind of villain in the world of golf, which seemed unlikely, but at least he's managed to pull that off.
All right, so everyone stay tuned for Monday. Yeah, you'll hear our mid-season NFL awards and picks, and then our top 5 greatest TV movie athletes. I like that. All right, I'll talk to you later, boys.
See ya.
Cheerio.